All right, everybody. You know who this is. This is S. Anthony Thomas. It's the S. Anthony Thomas Show. My guest this time, an old, long-time pod bro. And I want to apologize to everybody listening that you might be smooth voiced to death with the both of us talking to each other.
Like two radio hosts.
it's like when I was talking to Billy Dees, and I think we smooth voiced the audience to death. They were like, "Can we just listen? You guys just read the phone book." I believe we can do that. Ladies and gentlemen, David, the producer. How are you doing, good sir?
I am doing awesome, and I can't believe it's taken us 6 years to actually have a conversation. It's crazy.
You know, that's one of the weirdest things in the world. It's very similar to live performers who are friends who see each other 3 times a year.
Right.
You know, I have comedian friends that I've had for 35 years. And I mean, we get into a room with each other. And like, then 2006? That's the last time we touched each other, did a bro hug was 2006. What the hell is that? And it's the same thing.
Now we're used to it with COVID, though.
Oh yeah, I was going to say, now I just put this broom handle out and back up, punk.
Yeah. I didn't like you before people started getting sick.
I didn't realize how bad your breath was until now. Now I gotta ask you this, because you've been doing the pod thing for a minute as well. We're both old head podcasters, and I know why I started. I have very, very bad problems, but why did you? Why did you start podcasting, my friend?
I was forced into it. It was, by proxy, because you know that I produced Juliet's show, The Unwritable Rant, and she had just finished writing her first book. It went really well. She did a great tour. It was a lot of fun. She had a blast, but she started listening to the Bill Burr podcast, the Monday morning. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, the Monday morning podcast. Yes.
Yeah, Monday morning podcast. And all he was doing was just, telling stories. And she says, well, that's what I do in my writing. It would be really cool to start a podcast. And I'm like, oh, I'm doomed. Because I'm an old musician. So I had some gear laying around, that I could cobble together to record stuff. And, we gave it a shot. The first, I don't know. You know how this goes. The first 20 are just a complete dumpster fire. And they're still out there, of course. So, go out and listen to the first 20. They're actually hilarious, hilariously bad. So,
Yeah.
But, you just start getting into it. And the more that she started doing it, the more that we started picking up people listening, and the more people that were listening, the more excited she got about writing stories and doing interviews. So it just built upon itself. And here we are 6 years later. Come this August 23rd, it'll be 6 years. And we're loving it as much as we did day one, really.
It's one of the weirdest things because, you see, there's always a frame of reference. You're a live performer as a musician. Mm-hmm. I'm a live performer as a comic since 86, right? So we both know what it's like to go to different cities. You have a frame of reference for anywhere between 150 to thousands of people standing in front of you, immediate reaction. So you expect that. When you do this, and all of a sudden you're like, 3,000 people heard that?
Yeah. There's no instant gratification either, right? So you do your podcast, you edit it, and then you put it up, and you fingers crossed, let's see how many people listen to it, right?
Yeah, it's weird because I remember the first time I turned on my phone, and I don't know who shared what. I don't know what the hell happened. Because you go, you turn on the phone, what the hell is wrong with the phone? And then you realize, oh, I probably need to turn off notifications for.
I learned that with Twitter real quick. Yeah,
I was like, good gosh, yeah. It's just, but that's an interesting thing because, I see, because like I said, you've been around for a long period of time. I'm about to hit, I think, year 9 is coming.
9. Yeah, congratulations, man. 9 years.
What
keeps you going?
Like I said, I have problems.
Ego.
Isn't it? But it's just weird. It's like I'm sitting in my office right now, I got the big screen television. Well, not big, 32-inch TV. I got it from Best Buy for $100 because I'm not stupid. I was like, $100. Damn right, I'll take it. And a laptop, and then the equipment in front of it. And the simple fact that people are going to hear this, I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm heading towards the decade mark, and I'm just now getting used to the fact that people in countries that I have never been to,
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
going to hear
Once you
this
put it out in
conversation.
the ether, you put it out in the ether there, and it's anyone can listen, and that's it's daunting. I mean, thankfully, I'm not doing any content, so I don't have Juliet's role as the host, and she writes her stories and does the interviews, like I said. So I don't have that kind of pressure. My pressure comes in the back end, marketing, editing, the YouTube channel, all the other stuff that we do, both technically and, from a marketing and sales perspective. And there's not as obviously as much pressure, I think, on me than there is on her, because she's got to create new stuff all the time.
Yeah.
I don't see how she does it. I mean, I think the world of people like you too, because I know I couldn't do that every week.
The advantage that I had was I had decades of stand up, just writing and writing and writing and writing and writing and writing before I even started doing this. And just like you said a few minutes ago, I went back and I listened to my first 5 or 6 episodes, and I was laughing, but not for the reason that you would think.
You're ironically laughing.
Yeah, I'm sitting there going, first of all, my voice was different. Now, how the hell was my voice different when I was already a grown up?
Yeah, it's true. And your cadence changes, and you learn to have more space between your thoughts, because at least with Juliet, she sounded like Minnie Mouse. She's like, she just did not stop talking. It was just like a big run-on sentence and then she handed it to me and said, "Here, edit this pile," right?
Yeah. You do it.
Yeah, but now I barely edit anything because she knows the cadence of a pause and how to create a dramatic effect, or to leave some open space to ask someone a question in an interview. So she gets it now, and it makes my job so much easier, thankfully.
That's one of the funny things about it is the simple fact that, like they say, no part is the best part. You basically just eliminate all the stupid crap. And your workflow just gets a bit better, because essentially if you avoid the mistake in the beginning, you don't have to edit anything.
Right.
And I always liked that part of it. Where's she from originally?
Oh, she's from Chicago, like I was.
Aha. Okay. That explained the, it's amazing how many people from big cities everyone is packed on top of each other. There's millions of people. I had to teach myself how to speak this slowly.
Yeah.
Because East Coast guys don't do that.
No, and people from Chicago don't either. So it really took me even moving out here to New Orleans, where we live now, to appreciate a slower lifestyle, a slower way of speaking. I used to be like myself. So it's having that laid back and being in the South. I'm loving that. That is the best.
Where is David the producer from originally?
Chicago. Yeah.
Oh, so you grew
up there my whole life. Yeah. Grew up there my whole life. We just moved to New Orleans right before the pandemic.
Wait a second. Did you know something, damn you?
Yeah. I got a couple connections in Wuhan. That's all I'm saying.
David, we need you to leave. There's a pandemic coming. Yeah, we're going to go to New Orleans. No, you guys can stay here.
They kept everything open down here for the longest time, I'm telling you. It was very weird. And then they closed it and shut down just like every other city did. But then they were one of the first ones to reopen. So it was a very short pandemic down here.
Yeah, I was, because when I think about New Orleans, I always think in terms of, it's like when you go to any big city, everybody, when you think of the city, you think of the tourist attraction. When you think of Vegas, you think of the Strip. But the other 99% of Vegas is not the Strip,
Absolutely. New Orleans is the same way, but we do live in the tourist area. We live right in the center of the French Quarter. We're dead set in the middle of it. We're 1 block away from Bourbon Street. So we see it all. We see the drunks, we see the hookers, we see, college kids to old people, getting their beignets. We see it all. I saw a guy piss on a dog the other day. It's usually the other way around, but well, saw a guy piss on a dog.
How active, since you're actually sitting right in the middle of Ground Joy Zero, how active is the area? I mean, is it 24? I mean, is it every night?
Every night, the bars are open 24/7, 7 days a week. Can't even make that up. Yeah, we're dead center of absolute mayhem. But the way that we're settled in our place is that we have what they call the back quarters. So we're not facing Royal Street. That's where we're on. We're on Royal. But we don't face it. We have a balcony that's in the courtyard, so we don't hear shit. But then we walk out our front door, and it's like the Wizard of Oz, and you go, all of a sudden, color starts to appear, and you go, what the hell happened? It's nuts.
I just imagine, because I'll be honest with you, I imagine, I've always liked the whole concept of people watching. I mean, you don't have a balcony. Yeah, it's just, you don't have the balcony at all. You don't have any kind of balcony in front of the house. You can just stand there and look out the window and.
No, not in the front of the house. We just overlook our courtyard. So one of the big, I don't know if it's really a secret, but a lot of people don't see what happens behind a lot of these buildings, is that there's a courtyard with every place that has people living in it. And we have our own kind of private courtyard, which is very cool. We don't have to share it with anyone, but more so, we have 2 balconies. We have 2 levels, 2nd and 3rd level, and we have no neighbors. So it's like we are isolated if we want to be, but then you just want to get crazy and nuts. I walk 10 feet and all of a sudden you're in the middle of the shit.
Like the Fortress of Solitude.
Totally is. And I love it that way.
Because I haven't been there yet. And I've always wondered about that, because there are certain places that just seem to always be going. I remember going to Las Vegas. Well, actually, the first time I went to Las Vegas, it was there was a period of Las Vegas when it was family friendly.
Oh, I remember those days. Yep.
And
they opened Excalibur, and they did the pirate ship over at Treasure Island, all that crap.
And that stunk. I stood out there going, "What is? I didn't come up here for this."
Now, where's the hookers and blow?
I was like, "You losers!" I'm sitting there going, "No wonder my damn girlfriend was not pissed. Yeah, I'm going to Vegas. Yeah, go ahead, huh?"
Yeah, totally safe now. Exactly.
Damn it!
The good news is it's back.
Well, all right. I'm not with her anymore, so all right. Yeah, all right. Toplessness.
It shocks me every time I see parents that bring their kids to New Orleans. I'm like, really? You brought your kid to the most hedonistic place in the South? Not a good idea.
Well, I conceived her there, so
yeah, that's about it, right?
Because she should come back to her place of origin. Now, I was curious though, because I was looking. I'm subscribed to the YouTube channel.
Cool.
And of course I click the bell.
Thank you, sir. So you're that one guy.
Yeah, I wanted to get my money. You said I was gonna get $5 for that, and I checked my Cash App and it wasn't there. I want to buy some cryptocurrency with that.
Yeah.
With that $5. I'm one of those people that likes the travel. If I see anybody online, even if I don't know them, like I was going to subscribe to your channel anyway, but I'm talking about people that I don't know. Mm-hmm. If you go on a damn trip anywhere, if I see a drone footage of anything, if I see anybody on a beach, if I see anybody doing anything in nightlife, I am automatically going to watch it. So
really,
yeah, I mean, obviously the main thing I like to watch is things blow up. I'm a dude, but have women in bikinis and stuff blowing up, but that's beside the point. But when I was watching the video of you guys, you did it was the Aruba video.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, first of all, what did you shoot that on? that was not a phone, was it?
No. I have I'm using the latest GoPro. On that one, we had the previous version. I think I had an 8. Now I have the 9. But yeah, GoPros are awesome. I mean, absolutely awesome. They take the best video, and they're so compact and they're versatile, and they'll shoot day or night. I'm telling you, if you are interested in starting to do video, I would highly look into the GoPro.
Because I was looking at the video and I'm going, if this is a phone, it's got to be an iPhone of some kind, because I just don't see, the high level video that I was looking at. And you definitely want a high level video when you're on the beach in Aruba. And
that didn't suck.
I was just sitting there going, he's being attacked by a lizard. What's he going to do?
Well, that's the beauty of YouTube. It's very similar to podcasting. The way I look at it is because you could just take a whole bunch of footage, but then you got to take that and build a story, right? So you say, okay, this is all the footage we have. How are we going to make it exciting, make it digestible, and make it interesting so people watch more than 5 seconds or 10 seconds? People have short attention spans with video, a lot shorter than they do with podcasts. So you have, probably a good 3, 4, maybe 5 minutes. And if you don't capture their attention on a podcast, they'll move on. It's like 30 seconds, 40 seconds, maybe a minute if you're lucky on video.
Yeah, and that is I was just curious to see what your most popular video is, and that is your second most popular video.
Yeah, that one caught
rising
on
quickly.
Yeah, that one caught on.
Yeah, that's going to be number 1 soon. Yeah, I just got a kick out of you guys bouncing around to the different bars, because that's exactly what I would have done.
It's the beauty, you can be on vacation and still act like an idiot and say, hey, oh, by the way, we should probably take a little bit of video while we're here.
Yes, we're gonna
very secondary.
We're gonna make, instead of a staycation, go-cation. And one of the things I saw when you guys were sitting there drinking and you had your feet in the water under the table.
Oh, that restaurant is so badass. Yeah, it's right on the edge of Aruba. And Aruba is only 22 miles wide and like 12 miles high. So it's a tiny, tiny island right off of South America. Matter of fact, I think it's only like about 75 miles off the coast of, I forgot what South American country, Honduras or something like that. I don't know. It's close to there. And it's not all that far away from Cuba, too. So it's in between. And it has beautiful blue water, just very much like kind of some of the Caribbean locations have. But it's underneath the hurricane line. So you can go anytime during the year. It's 80 degrees every single day of the year. And it never rains. It's a desert island. So it's a great place to go. So I highly recommend it if you get there. But that restaurant called Kingfish, I think that's the name of it, was Kingfish. Yeah, I'm almost positive it's Kingfish. And yeah, they seat you where your feet are actually in the ocean because you're on the beach, but you're, safe. You don't feel like your table's going to go flying away while you order your salmon.
The only thing I was thinking, the only time I was actually distracted from the video was the moment you guys were sitting at the table with your feet in the water. Because the only thing I was thinking is, if I actually took my shoes off and put my feet in the water and people saw the way my banged up feet after all these years, I would literally be thrown off of the island.
Scare the sharks, would you?
Sir, we got some complaints. Is there any way you could put your shoes on in the water?
We have special sandals for you, sir.
Yes, this is the water. Yeah, the water is actually moving away from your really ugly feet. Is there any way you could, it's just, and that's the weird thing, is that's exactly what I was thinking when I was like, I'd never do that. I'd be the only dude there with socks on, be going, did somebody beat your feet with baseball bats or something, sir? It was martial arts back in the day. Leave me alone.
That's not good, man. Yeah, banged up feet. Yeah, table side banged up feet. Not good.
We're not going to serve you, sir.
So I have a question for you, man. When are you going to start your YouTube channel?
You know what the funny thing is? I'm actually thinking about it, because I'm going to get some because I was looking at what kind of equipment I wanted to get, because I was looking at the bourbon soaked, and I saw the graphics and all the. I got to get the programs that I need. I got to get the obviously GoPro camera. I want to get some green screens. I want to get some ideas I want to do, and I'm going to begin performing again later on this year. So there's a whole lot of things I'm going to be bouncing around a lot, and when that happens, it's on, my friend.
Yeah. Hey, give me a call. I'll tell you the tools that we use and how to work them. But for the live stuff, StreamYard. Oh, it's the best.
Okay, good. I downloaded that a little while ago. I just wanted to have it on the computer, just to find, because I tend to gather all the things I need, even if I don't plan on using them for 3 months. I'll have them already.
Yeah.
Like before I buy a recorder, I already have all the cables in a box.
Yeah, exactly.
Before the recorder comes, like if I bought a Tesla or something like that, all of that crap would be sitting in a box waiting for the car to show up, because that's the kind of guy I am.
The best part about StreamYard is no one has to download a separate application on the far end. All they do is do it through a browser. So having remote guests on like you do, and sometimes you'll do stuff alone. I'm sure you'll post stuff of like your comedy that you record at clubs. But if you're doing guest related content, it's the easiest format. It does support green screen. It has transitions. You put your own intro and outros into it. It's awesome.
Okay, good. Because I have that on the computer. I have the program sitting right here. I grabbed OBS and I grabbed StreamYard. I just wanted them on the computer so I could decide which one I wanted to use, but I think the decision has just been made.
Well, I started off with OBS, and actually I think OBS is superior to StreamYard, but it's a computer hog, and we had more issues with that. And I even bought a new laptop thinking that the new processing power would be better for OBS, and it's still hung up on a bunch of stuff. So, we bailed on OBS.
Yeah, because the thing is, you just want to make sure your workflow is smooth. I don't want any, because the last thing I want to do is, man, I finally got Denzel Washington to come on. Hey, Mr. Washington. Oh, good Lord.
That's exactly it. The least amount of technology is always best, because there's less things that can, mess up on you, obviously, right? So I always try to find that the least common denominator for doing anything, especially live.
Yeah. Oh God. It's really weird, because there's so many different live things that you can do now. Even Spotify has this green room crap and all these other kind of things going on. Everybody's got the little streaming, whatever. And, it's like, okay, guys, we get it. You can all stream. We get it. Calm down. Relax. It's like, calm down, everybody, but because I did live on another thing a little while ago, and I had people coming in and all that kind of stuff. But, but unfortunately at the time, my schedule was so weird that I knew that I couldn't be consistent. And if I can't be consistent, I don't want to, have some people showing up expecting me to be there and I'm not there. I hate that.
Yeah.
And as somebody who, is used to going to different cities and knowing the booker, knowing I'm coming and knowing I'm always going to be where I said, it irritates me. And if I can't be consistent, I won't do it. I have to ask you this. I need to know this. The people need to know this, damn it, about you. How did you meet who?
We met on MySpace.
Oh, good God.
I know.
MySpace.
On freaking MySpace. I might as well said, through carrier pigeon. Jesus.
Here's the thing. A third of the audience for this show is in like 18 to 24.
Right.
You just said MySpace. They're like,
click.
What? MySpace was Facebook before Facebook was Facebook. Facebook basically, for those of you listening, the youngsters, Facebook basically showed up and drop kicked MySpace down the steps. It's basically because at the time, MySpace I had a MySpace, and it was just an interesting thing. But Facebook just literally just walked up behind him and gave him the Rambo knife to the throat, and then pushed him down the steps. But back to you meeting Miss Juliet.
It was funny because it's actually 13 years ago to the day last Sunday that we met on
Congratulations, good sir.
MySpace.
Congratulations.
Yeah, lucky 13.
Mm-hmm.
We hung in there. I was playing in a band at the time, just a local cover band in Chicago, nothing special.
Mm-hmm.
And my singer used to do this thing on MySpace where he would go out to every single hot chick's MySpace page and promote our show. I mean, this guy was a man whore with the band. You know, he just wanted all the hot chicks to come out to the show. Can't blame him. Great idea. Loved it. And somehow he hit across Juliet's page, mentioned that we were going to be playing a show out in Schaumburg, which is one of the suburbs of Chicago. And she was very reluctant. She had just gotten out of another relationship, not a very long term. I think it was like a year or two. And she's just like, yeah, I should probably get out there. I would get out and go see a band because she's always been into music. She was writing for magazines like Cream, and she even did some stuff for Rolling Stone when she was living in LA. So she wanted to go out and see a band. So she came out, saw the band, and dude, I swear, the first time I saw her and she introduced herself to me, I'm like, there's just something about that girl. Now, I didn't know it was the drinking, but at the time.
Yeah.
No, she's just an awesome chick. And I still feel that way about her today. I still say that there's something about that girl. She's talented, just super smart. She puts up with my bullshit. That's a pretty good chick to keep around.
I like how you very, very slyly did that. Very, very good. Because you're trying to, you slide in there. Oh, yeah, she's very, very smart. And we know she's smart. Very, very talented. We know she's talented. We get all of that. But I know what she looks like, you big phony. So,
I wasn't saying she was not hot. Yeah.
What attracted you to the pretty redhead? She had these really nice shoes on, and yeah.
That's Anthony. My mother raised short kids, not stupid ones.
When I asked that question, I'm going, I'm gonna see. I know he's not going to say it first. So let's see.
I didn't say it at all.
That's what I'm saying. He didn't say it at all. He's like, why did you date? Excuse me, Eric Benet. Why'd you date Halle Berry? Well, she had this wonderful mood ring on, and come on, man.
Now you know that I got to tell Juliet that we had to cancel. She can't hear this, right?
She's right here. Hey, y'all. What? How did you get to New Jersey? So actually, your lead singer actually did you a favor.
He did me a huge solid. Yeah. And I always thought that he was just a really creepy guy.
Yeah.
It worked out to my benefit.
Say, thanks a lot for being weird, bro.
Yeah. But what lead singer doesn't want to bang every chick they meet, right? I think it's in the singer dictionary or just in their DNA.
Yeah.
They just have to bang chicks.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is that, that lead singers of bands are completely different from comedians. We're all hermits. I'm looking forward to the first time I have sex as well. I'm sure it's going to happen at some point, and I've been saving myself.
Just make sure your parents aren't there. That's all.
I just want to I just have to make sure. I had to save myself to make sure that the purity of.
Believe me, I know what comedy whores are. Comedy groupies, they're out there. Don't give me that crap.
I have no idea what you're talking about. It's a dirty lie. You should be.
What do they call them? Chuckle fuckers?
I really am not familiar with that term at all. You're disgusting. And I feel that the funny thing is, I told friends that knew me back in the day.
Right.
I wasn't as big. I mean, I was always a guy that would find a lady that I liked, and then that would be my girlfriend for a few years. And my other friends would laugh at me because they would say, maybe never see you with anybody. And then all of a sudden you pop up and you got a girlfriend for 5 years. It's like, yeah, see, I'm having more sex than you with someone with no diseases.
That's exactly it.
So,
but you have a history of throwing them away like tax returns.
No, please. You know what? Before I break up with somebody, they have to do something real, because I'm one of those idiots that when I get comfortable, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Oh, do you stay on too long?
Yeah, yeah, because it's like, because I don't, when I was younger, okay, I'll talk. When I started doing comedy at 17 years old, and they were
I knew you
20.
were young when you were doing that. You posted some stuff on Facebook of some like when you were like 17 or 18.
Yeah. And I mean, and I was fresh 17 when I started, like 17 years and 2 months.
Wow.
So I'm waiting. I'm sitting there going, I'm not going to make you guys a criminal, but I'm going to wait. As soon as I turn 18, do.
What city did you start in? Did you start in Philly?
Down in Philadelphia, yes.
Yeah. Okay. I thought you started in Philly, then you moved your way out west.
Yeah, that is see, that's one of those. Yeah, I went out west 7 years later. Talk about, oh my God, I ain't even gonna talk about what happened out there. Jesus Christ. And Lord knows I'm not saying anything about what happened in New York in the 80s. Goodness gracious.
Oh wow, you were in comedy, or at least in the comedy scene during the heyday.
Yeah, I started right in the comedy boom.
Yeah, wow, that's totally cool.
Yeah,
I didn't even put the dates together. Yeah, if you were in New York in the 80s, you were hitting all the cool places. Did you ever play Dangerfields?
I was going to, but it's like a friend of mine was in Dangerfields. I was down at the Improv. There was the Comedy Cellar comedy. It was a place called the Village Gate. Down there. I got in spots into that, and then I started getting gigs where people were paying me, and I went, yeah, I'm out of here. We'll pay you how many? What? Oh, shit. Okay, I'll be there. And but that's a weird thing to go through that time period, and I just said, if this is what's happening in the 80s, what in the blue hell were people doing in the 70s? Because you hear all the Aerosmith stories,
right?
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, it was. They were doing blow off the back of dancers' backs in New York. I mean, it was crazy. I heard in the 80s. Now, did you come up the same time? No, you wouldn't have. You may have seen him then, but it's the same time Seinfeld was coming up in New York.
Oh no, that guy's got me by quite a bit. Yeah,
he came up in the 70s, right?
Yeah,
not the 80s.
He was in the because by the time he was a big deal when I started, Jay Leno and David Letterman, Seinfeld, those guys were already huge by the time I started. Okay. Yeah.
I always get my timelines wrong with those guys.
You trying to call me old? Is that what you're trying to do, buddy? All right. I'm only 52, damn it.
I'm just trying to carbon date you, man.
Those guys are in their 60s. How dare you? Oh, I tell you,
it was a great time for comedy. It was also the worst time for comedy, from what I understand.
It could be weird because what started to happen was it's just like a football team that has a 28-point lead at halftime and they think the game's over and then they wound up losing on a field goal. It was so easy to do comedy. Obviously comic, I'm talking from the Booker standpoint. It was so easy for them that they went, instead of paying the headliner all this money, I can put 2 feature acts and an MC on and save some money.
Right.
Yeah. And they did save some money. And the MC and the feature can pull it off a little bit, but there's a reason the headliner is the headliner, because he or she, it's like having a black belt. If there's something goes wrong during a match, you can adjust and still win the fight.
Right.
The features are brown belts and the MCs are white belts. There's a reason why you're in your position on the show. After a while, the brown belts can't handle it. And then the audience goes, okay, this kind of sucks.
Right.
And they don't.
Well, and I heard that, with the boom of comedy, there were so many comedy clubs that they were graduating, like white belts to brown belts way too fast.
Yeah. I mean, I saw, there were, I'll be honest with you, there were several shows where they would have 10 white belts on.
Yeah. And here's your third middle.
I remember going through a show and I'm looking at the guy and he's staring at me. And when a girl or lady is coming up to you and she's going to ask for your phone number.
Oh yeah.
I knew he was going to come over and ask me, is there any way you could do an hour set at the back end of the show because these people stink?
Oh geez.
And I'm I'm looking at him going, yeah.
And would you prepare for like a solid 10?
Yeah. I'm sitting there going, yeah, you need to go into your office and get your checkbook out. Because I just
Did you have a
in.
solid hour at that point?
Yeah.
Early in your
Yeah.
career?
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Good for you, man.
Yeah. Yeah. By that time, I was 5 years in. So I had had several hours at that point. So, because, but the thing was, it was just a weird thing because, I'm watching this guy and I'm going, I'm sitting in the back. I just came because one of the white belts was a friend of mine, and he just started. He was older than me, but he just started. I was, oh, you okay? I'll come down and check you out. I thought he was going to be on a regular show, but the guy cheaped out, And I'm going. I said, and I saw the lineup, and I'm going, the hell is this? What are you doing? This is the weekend, man. You can't do this. I mean, you could do this on a Thursday or a Wednesday, but you can't do this on Saturday. The hell is wrong with this guy? And, exactly what I expected to happen happened. And everybody did kind of okay, but you could hear the audience getting like restless. This guy's not that good. I'm in the back going, and then I saw him staring at me, and he goes, that's it. Oh. Hey, what's going on, buddy? Hi, buddy. Yeah. Want to do a few minutes? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Can you do, like half an hour? Oh, sure. Can you do 45 minutes? Yeah. Can you do 75 minutes?
75.
I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I said, but I'm not going to, because these people should all, they came here to perform. I'm not going to walk on and push them off the stage. So, I'll do 45 at the back end, but you're going to have to, like I said, you got to go in that office and get your checkbook out there, buddy. And
back then they would do it.
Oh, yeah. I walked into the office with him, and he was, I said, whoa, you have cash here? He goes, yeah. I said, I'll take that. And he goes, okay. And I'm walking down
cash
the street.
Is king.
Yeah, I had like $800 in my pocket. And I'm like, I got to get this into the bank quickly. I don't know what the hell I was thinking, asking this jackass to give me this money.
Yeah. Walking around the streets of New York with $800 in the 80s.
I'm about to get killed here. I'm about to get murdered. Because I'm saying, what the hell is wrong with? I'm gonna get murdered. The jackass gets $800, ass whipped in the street on the night.
How'd you handle the crumble of comedy in the 90s? I mean, it took a hard fall. I mean, so many clubs closed. The whole scene changed. It was more discerning, and also it was a lull for comedy in a way.
Yeah, well, the thing was, I knew enough folk where I see. The thing is, what a lot of people didn't realize was that there were a lot of bars that would do comedy, and you could literally go into a bar and do shows, and it wasn't a lot of money. But if you're sitting at home on a Tuesday or Thursday, and somebody calls you up, yes, we're doing a show in Palmyra, New Jersey. I can only give you $150. I'm like, I can drive 8 minutes. And you're going to give me $150, and you want me to do what I love to do the most. And I can be home in 62 minutes with $150. Yeah, I think I can do that for you. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Done.
Yeah. So what happened was what it essentially made you do is a lot more shows to come with to get up to about 60 to 75% of what you were making before. But it required more effort, more travel. But as far as I was concerned, knowing how bad it could have been,
right,
it was fine. It was fine.
You know what? You're one of the lucky ones. Because Julia, and I don't know if you know a lot about the interviews that Juliet's done on the show, but we're both big, huge fans of comedy. I think that's pretty apparent. Mm-hmm. And we've had on, like Bob Levy from Howard Stern.
Reverend Bob, yeah.
Yeah, Reverend Bob, which is awesome. Right from your backyard, New York, when you're out there. Bert Kreischer, Nick DiPaolo, a whole bunch of really solid, good comedians. And I love hearing the backstories and the shitty stories and the stories about when things weren't so great. But one guy I wish I would have been able to have on, and I regret this to this day, because he passed away, was Patrice O'Neill.
Yeah.
That guy was a force, man.
Yeah, I only got to meet him one time. He was living with a friend, Keith Robinson.
Do you know Keith Robinson?
Oh yeah, he's from Philly. Yeah, I know Keith Robinson. Yeah, so it's no friend of mine.
That's so funny.
So I'm staying with Keith. It was Keith, Patrice, and I'm going to get in trouble for not remember the other person's name. I'm going to get killed. I swear. So you don't remember my name? I'm sorry, man. You know, I know you. And this is all right. And I stayed in the house. What was kind of hilarious is the simple fact that I didn't know how good he was then because I never heard of him at that point. This is a long time ago.
Right.
And we're sitting in the house, and I stayed overnight. So I get up, and then Patrice is walking around in his underwear. And I go, hey, we're talking.
That must have been a sight.
Yeah, we're all breaking each other's stones. And that's when I realized what an honest cat this guy was. Because we're just sitting there talking, and he goes, you know what? I go, what's up, man? He goes, I like you. You're funny, bro. You're real funny. But I met you through show business. And I just met you. So I can see I'm going to be friends with you at some point. But because I met you through show business, I'm gonna have to check you out for a while.
That guy, honest to the bone, man.
And I started laughing at him, and I was like, I said, we are so similar. He said, the only difference between you and me is I was thinking exactly the same thing. I just wouldn't have said it to you. And then he started laughing. I was like, we're very. I didn't realize how similar we actually are. Except it looks like you're like me if like someone pumped me, because he's like 6'5". I'm 5'8". He's like a. No, it was really funny is when we were coming back from New York. It was me, Keith, and the other guy whose name I can't remember, who is literally going to strangle me to death when I run into him again. You don't remember my
you're
name?
done. Yeah, you don't remember a name on the marquee, nothing. Huh?
I'm going to get murdered. I swear he's going to kill me. and it's somebody I know. And it's just watch this. Tomorrow I'm going to be like going, damn that, because I haven't seen him in a while. And so
I can't see I'm looking forward to the Twitter wars over this.
Oh, I'm going to get killed. It'll be in the DMs. You mother effer. I'm telling you, it's going to come. And we got pulled over by the police. Going back to the apartment. And one of the funniest things in the world was Keith is roughly my height. The other guy is roughly my height. Patrice is humongous. So
right.
The troopers are standing there. There's no security cameras back there. We were literally going to go and get some food because we're comics. We can stay up all night anyway. Get some food. We're going to go back to the apartment and talk crap. I get out of the car. The driver gets out of the car. Robinson gets out of the car, and the police officer is just kind of looking at us. Then Patrice steps out of the car.
Oh, yeah. And kept stepping out of the car.
And then I was like, all of a sudden, the hands started going towards the guns. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. We're all going to get murdered back here. And then one of the guys pulls me. They're talking, and he pulls me over, and he goes, what's going on here? And I said, and I was like, let me see if I can read this dude. So I can say, and then I started talking to the guy, and I'm looking at the other police officer got his hand on his gun. I forgot what I said to him. Whatever it was, the police officer that I was talking to motioned to the other guy, and his hand came off of his gun, and then he got back into his car. And he goes, all right, you guys are all right. That's cool. Okay. I forgot whatever I said to him, it worked. Because, we're not dead. And, none of us got tickets.
Pulled over, for driving while funny.
It was really weird because I'm sitting there going, I think it was funny because it goes illegal lane change. We just came off the exit. He hadn't changed lanes yet. You just wanted to see who was in the car, and but that was the one time. I mean, that was over the course of a day or so. But that was the only time I actually had been in the same place as Patrice. Because very soon afterwards, I just started working. And then after that, a few years later, I was in Los Angeles doing that kind of thing.
Okay, what dragged you out to LA? Because that's a big move and a lot of comics did it from, either Boston to LA or New York to LA. What dragged you out?
I had a guy who I auditioned for. I think it was like in Living Color or something, like right before it got canceled or something. One of those shows.
Mm-hmm.
And they picked some other guy who was doing some kind of robot noises or some crap like that. But the guy who was running the audition goes, I'll manage you when you come to Los Angeles.
Hmm.
And I go, well, as a person in the business, I'm going, yeah, sure. That's what I'm thinking in my mind. Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah. Is Halle Berry going to be there? She's going to pick me up at the airport. I was not believing it.
That's the second time Halle Berry's come up, right?
I'm going to start referencing Tracy Ellis Ross in a minute, and because I want both of them, or either one of them. But Tracy Ellis Ross, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, girl. So, but that was just an interesting thing to go out there, and it was a culture shock. I'm sure that there was some kind of culture shock when you went to New Orleans from Chicago. Tell me your culture shock first.
Oh, I knew it was a different kind of a city when I went to a cigar bar. A girl came up to me, started talking to Juliet and I, and then she said we were walking out, and we were actually going. We had plans to go somewhere else, and she's like, "I'm coming with you," and I said, "No, you're not." And she pulled a knife out on me.
What the hell is it?
I'm like, I'm not in Chicago anymore. Usually I used to see guns. I'm not used to seeing knives.
So what is this, a forced threesome? What the hell is this?
Oh, if she would have been hot, it would have been a much different ending to the story.
I'm coming with you. No.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm hoping an alligator is going to get her. Oh, yeah, she was not a pretty girl. And she was a tourist on top of it. So, yeah. Ooh. See, and you know what? We love our tourists here in New Orleans, but there's a certain stigma that comes along with that of being a tourist here in New Orleans, because they're usually drunker than anyone else, usually a little bit more obnoxious than anyone else, and usually you'll find every one of them on Bourbon Street.
Because to me, literally, the second, that's one of those places where the second I showed up in New Orleans, my behind would be right on Bourbon Street in 3 seconds.
It's the magnet for, the first time that you come here, it's like, well, I have to see Bourbon Street. And you really do. You have to at least check it out. It's something to behold one time. But once you've done it once, you're like, yeah, I'm kind of done with it. Because there's a lot of other cooler places to go as a local.
What is the local nightlife? I mean, because obviously, just like in any other big city, you have the area where you go, yeah, that's where the tourists are going to act like jackasses, and let those idiots over there. Let's go to the place where the natives and the people that live here, we're the cool. Where is that, and how far away from Bourbon Street is the place where people that live there and know the really cool places? How far away is that?
They could be as close as a block away. No tourist leaves Bourbon Street except during the day when they go shopping. I swear to God, every single tourist just flocks to Bourbon Street and hangs out there all night. And that's fine. You stay there, because there's a tremendous amount of great bars that are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks away. I can count 20 of them just in a 4-block radius, 5-block maybe. So there's so many other great places to go where the locals go. But there's one area that is the local version of Bourbon Street, which is called Frenchman Street. And it's right in the Bywater, right outside of the quarter, just across the street, literally. And it's called Frenchman Street. And it's the coolest of the cool.
Well, you pretty much just ruined that. Excuse me, obnoxious jackasses. Now you know where it is.
You know it. And every person from New Orleans is like, shut the fuck up.
What is wrong with this? Damn it, David.
I know. There's so many great places to go, though. I mean, like, we live really close to the Orleans Hotel right there. And like I said, the French Quarter. And I got to know the general manager real well. So he lets me up on the rooftop pool. So now we even have our own private pool. This place is all about making friends and getting in certain circles. Matter of fact, they call them crews out here. They spell it Krewe. And what a crew is essentially a big group of people that all know each other, and they celebrate Mardi Gras with different themes. So we're part of what they call the Crew of Cork. And the Crew of Cork is all about wine, which you would think, well, that's weird because, Juliet and I are big bourbon fans, but you know what? Hey, when in Rome.
Yeah, I saw her smile on top of that champagne in the Yoruba video too.
That's right. Yeah, we're a little more diverse than just bourbon. So,
but that's the thing that if I was to go there, because I would not go. See, if I went there, I would be there for a while, and I would go to Bourbon Street just to see it. It's like when I went to San Francisco. The first thing I was living in San Francisco. When I was living in San Francisco, once I got established there, as soon as I found my spot, the first thing I went right to the Haight-Ashbury.
Right, because you have to see it, and it's very touristy.
I went there and I'm going, this looks like South Street in Philadelphia or the Village in New York, or it was. I was like, damn it, and I don't know what the hell I was expecting. I'm expecting a bunch of Summer of Love people to be sitting there with,
yeah, the Grateful Dead sitting on a porch playing a banjo.
Bro, dude, because the funny thing is, I just watched a documentary on the Summer of Love right before I left. So
that's cool.
So as soon as I got there, I went to my buddy. I was like, I don't know about you, I'm going to the damn Haight-Ashbury. And I got off and going, well, this is disappointing.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's almost like a suburban neighborhood. Yeah, it's like, man, it's not that great.
It's like, geez,
but now that whole area is super dangerous. Our last trip out there, we literally feared for our lives. We're like, uh-oh, this is ungood.
When I went out there were some places, I forgot exactly where it was, because when I stayed, originally I stayed in a hostel on Battery Street, right by where the cars go by. And here's the funny thing: I was out there for a year and a half, never rode a cable car.
Well, that's what tourists do.
Yeah, and I was
Why
like,
would you?
There's something about me. I think it was something in the back of my reptilian brain was like, we're not doing that.
Yeah, what if an earthquake happens? Yeah, that thing goes running rampant. No.
I was out there for the big earthquake.
You would be singing the Rice-A-Roni song the whole time, though.
I refuse to answer that question. So, but I was out there for the big Northridge quake. That
was huge.
Yeah,
that was the one that shook the whole candlestick and all, right?
Yeah, this thing was gigantic. I mean, I saw my neighborhood with houses twisted and pushed into the street.
Oh man!
And you could look out the window, and you could literally see chunks of highway missing. You know what I mean? So, like, what the hell is this? Even though the movie hadn't come out yet, it was like one of those. I was thinking about that Will Smith movie, I Am Legend or whatever. It was kind of like that. Yeah. Even though the movie wouldn't come out for another 15 years, but it was just like that. But it's an interesting thing to see all of these places, because you were talking about how you felt unsafe in San Francisco. When I lived there were some places that we had to go through to get to a club I was playing. Mm-hmm. Oh man, I felt like a punt returner. When you gotta look all around you.
Oh yeah, head on a swivel.
I was like, a couple of guys that had to threaten they were getting too close to me. I had to turn in the West Philly teenager version of myself who would punch you in the throat if you got too close. And I was like 24, 25 years old guy getting really close. And what? Sorry, man. Don't even try me. Sorry, bro. I know he was trying. He's going in his belt. It's like, you really think I'm going to let you get the knife out before I sidekick you in the throat? You're never going to get that knife out. You better get a gun. If you get a knife, if I can get to you before you get it out, I'm going to break a limb. I'm going to break your arm. I'm going to break your leg. I'm going to pull your nose off. Come on, man. But but it was expensive as crap. I was surprised.
Oh, San Francisco's crazy. It still is. But San Francisco does have my favorite strip club I've ever been to at any city I've ever gone to strip clubs in. And here's the funny thing. I can't remember the name. It ended in Brothers, Brothers, and I can't remember the name of it. So I'm going to have to look that up and tell you later. Well, podcast audience.
Well, having never been to a strip club or knowing what they are, I'm going to have to take your word for that, because I'm not familiar. I know there's going to be people that go, but you did comedy in dozens of strip clubs. That's a dirty lie. I've never been to these places. I've definitely never gotten it on with any of the ladies who worked at these strip clubs. I've never done that. I'm not.
Why does your Zoom picture have glitter on it then?
I have no idea what you're talking about. I think that's an optical illusion. You might want to check those glasses, David. And I feel that. Now, let me ask you this, because because you do interviews, you guys do interviews as well. Mm-hmm. And I was not really going to do that initially. But I realized, when you listen to the interviews, if you have a genuine curiosity and a fondness for having conversation with people, and she seems to be enjoying herself when she's having these conversations.
She loves it. Yeah. It's the interviews are a lot of fun, and it breaks up the storytelling, episode. So but her rule, and I recommend this to anyone that want to have celebrities on their show, is just don't get any celebrity. Get someone that you really have a passion about, that you give a shit about, that you want to hear their story, or that you feel you can get more of a story out of them on different things. So that's where the real passion comes. And that's when they open up, is when they, are asked different questions than they're used to being asked, or that they're led down different paths, or, it's always about promoting something that they're promoting at that time. And you have to make it about that. So let me make that clear. The thing that they're promoting, make sure you promote the shit out of it and ask questions about it, but leave yourself room to trail into other areas.
I was surprised that, because I said to one, I said, I actually listened to some of your other interviews, and he goes, I said, so I don't ask you the same dumbass questions that everybody else asked you. And he started laughing. He goes, I don't ask you, because he's like, I said, I'm guaranteeing you this is not going to, this is before I started recording.
Right.
Because we had a fun little conversation before the recording started. And I said, I'm guaranteeing I'm not going to ask you the same dumbass questions, because some of the interviews that I heard were some of the interviews were really good interviews, but a lot of them were just really stupid. It was a person going, did this person literally do any research on this guy at all?
You know what? That's the funny thing, and you know what, S. Anthony, you're spot on, and this is what draws a celebrity out, is that you ask them questions that they're not used to. Don't no trick questions. You're not TMZ. You're not trying to trip them up, but ask them things that are either passion projects about theirs, things that people don't necessarily go into that often, or something that Juliet does that I think is just such an art, and I could never do this, is that she doesn't ask a question, but she'll make a statement and pause, and they'll actually go into their own interpretation of it. I'm like, oh, that's fucking genius.
Yes. I was just listening to somebody who goes, so so you were on the show Roseanne, right?
Well, what they'll do is they think research is looking up their Wikipedia page, and then they're done. And I've heard interviews like that out there. And by the way, I've heard celebrities do other celebrity interviews, from some pretty big shows where they did zero research, and you're like, oh, this is not going good.
It's like, because it's just one of those. It's just one of those things where you don't want your interview or your chat, because I tend to. I promised myself when I have people on the show that I'm not going to rattle off questions that are, like I'm looking at a piece of paper.
Right.
And I know what I want to talk about. I know what I want to talk about. I know where I want them to go. I can nudge a person in the direction that I want to without, sounding like I'm doing it. Right. And right. I want it to be this is the best way I describe the kind of interviews / chats / conversations that I like.
Right.
They need to sound like there's thousands of people listening, but it needs to sound like there's 3 or 4 people at a table. 2 people are talking about something specific, and the other 2 people are listening, waiting for their opportunity to talk. Insofar as it's a natural conversation, I don't want it to sound like I'm pounding. So another thing, I understand you and J-Lo dated, huh?
Right.
How about that?
Yeah, you're not looking for sound bites. You're looking for long form conversation. And there's 2 people that I think in podcasting that do it the best, and that's Joe Rogan and Mark Maron. They do long form conversations, whether it's with a celebrity, a physicist, or whoever the hell that they're talking to. I think that they do it the best because one, they make their guest extremely comfortable. Two, they don't open up with a traditional standard question. It's very much like, hey, how was your drive over today? And it's like,
Yeah.
it just gets them comfortable in actually answering other kinds of questions. So, we've studied, the pros for a while to see how it's done and done right. And we've learned a lot.
Outside of the podcasting world, who would you, what are the interview, and you can go back as far in history as you want to, the interviewers that really, kind of gave you the blueprint, or interviews that you really just enjoy listening to them interview people just in general? It doesn't have to be stars, just in general. Do you have any of those?
Yeah, there's a couple, and I'll tell you that going back to a younger demographic, they're probably not going to get this, but Charlie Rose,
Whoop, that's one of mine.
Yeah, he was just now he was very even keel. He was not an exciting kind of a person, but he knew how to get out of his interview exactly what he needed to get out of them. He was a genius. And I would have to say the second interviewer, oh God, there's so many good people that have interviewed. And you know what? I can't use any of the late night folks as examples because those were such short segments. They never went into any depth. I'm more of a long form guy. And where I really appreciate, interviews and people that have been interviewed. But I really liked, and I know sometimes it was pretentious, and you can kick me right in my balls for saying this, but the guy from In the Actors Studio.
Oh, James Lipton,
because that guy, while he was a totally different kind of style of interview, that bastard did his homework.
Yeah. In fact, when they used to do a sketch on him on Saturday Night Live, of course they exaggerated things. They had a stack of 3x5 cards that came up to his chin on the sketch. It's no, that's the funny thing. I think that these people have gotten so at such a high level in their craft that I just asked you that. And if you were going to ask me, I would have started out with, Charlie Rose was the blueprint guy.
Yeah.
James Lipton was the other one. And then I even go as far back as I would look. I even watch some of them now when they come on. And one of my former guests, Eddie Brill, who used to book The Tonight Show with David Letterman.
Oh, I've heard the name, but I obviously don't know him.
Yeah, he's a super duper well-respected comic just as a comic. In addition to that, he was the booker for Letterman for 13 years.
Wow,
So,
that's huge.
Yeah, and I had him on the show last season, and I'm
going to go back and listen to that one. That's got to be a cool one.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get him again. He was like, "Are we gonna do it?" I was like, "Yeah, of course we're doing it again." Kind of silly question. That's what I said. It was like, kind of silly question is that? I was like, "Yeah, no, stay off the show, Eddie." And I just sent him a message because he just interviewed on Clubhouse. He interviewed my other guy, Dick Cavett.
No, you know what? I totally forgot about Dick Cavett. Yeah, he's another one of those guys that were just, now that's really old school. That goes 60s to 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And Dick Cavett was really, was really great.
Yeah, because I didn't catch him until the reruns, obviously. You know what I mean? I caught him on, he's before my time, but I caught him on the reruns.
Right.
And I'd watch this guy. I remember some of these interviews, he did an interview with Jerry Lewis, which was hilarious because you got to see serious Jerry Lewis.
Oh, that's even better.
That's the
because he was angry Jerry Lewis back
that was
then.
the best thing ever.
I know. Nothing beats a serious Jerry Lewis.
Oh God, it was great. So Jerry, I understand the movie theaters, the movie producers gave you a hard time when you're making a movie. Dick, yeah. You know what I did? I actually said I was going to edit the movie. I just moved a couple things around. and then gave me exactly the same thing right back. And they said they loved it. And I'm like, you're looking at going, I was waiting for him to do the
right, exactly.
Waiting for him to do errand boy.
Hey, I'll tell you, I'm going to be a little controversial here. And I'm going to say the two that I think are the most overrated interviewers, Barbara Walters and Oprah Winfrey.
I've heard, see, the thing about it is the guests they got were so over the top huge that you just didn't give a crap about what questions were being asked or who was asking them. You know what I mean? It's like they got access. It's like you could be the worst interviewer in the world, but if you got Michael Jackson answering the questions,
it's just all about him.
Yeah, it's like, so Michael, what about music? Music, and then he'll talk for 15 minutes. But by the way, I just want to say for the record, David is wrong. Oprah Winfrey and Barbara Walters are fantastic interviewers. Because I'm actually probably will run across these people at some point. So David's an idiot. He has no idea what he's talking about. I never liked him.
You know what? And it's not that they didn't do good work.
Don't try to clean it up now, man. No,
I'm not already going on my apology tour. Believe me. The only reason I think that they're overrated is because you can tell by their interviews, they took all their PR people's, the list of questions, they brought them to them. They had to get them approved because they're A-listers, and they were all inane questions. They never went off script, and it was all boring as shit.
Once again, Oprah and Barbara, I just want to say that I think the hell with David. Your interviews are incredible. Because I don't want you to dig up any dirt on me if I ever get to that level and ruin me. Yeah, I no, that's one of the weird things is it's like when you get a late night talk show and it's new, you can't get guests for a while because nobody knows
you, and you don't have the ratings,
and they don't know what you're going to do.
Right.
Now, if Tom Cruise comes on for some reason, somebody like that, and you treat them well, all of a sudden the floodgates open up, and it's more along the lines of people, because I've had people that I asked to come on, and they didn't. I hadn't done any interviews at that point, and they were like, "Ew, no."
Absolutely. And we dealt with that. When we first started the podcast, we're like, okay, we're brand new to this. We were 8 episodes in, and I'm like, all right, who do we go after first for an interview? Because we wanted to do our first interview. And we were both big fans. And it was just a weird kind of a situation to where we're like, well, let's get someone who we think is attainable, because one, we've never interviewed anyone. So if they ask us who we've interviewed, we can't say we've interviewed other people. So we went after Gary Wright, who did the song Dreamweaver. Do you remember him? And he was in Ringo Starr's band. And, so he had some notoriety, but it was kind of dated, right? So we had to start somewhere. And actually, we really enjoyed his music. So it was it all starts from a passion of what creatively they've done. So I'll never forget this. I was driving to Wisconsin because I was still playing in a band at the time, and I'm on my way to a gig, and I get a call from Gary Wright, and he goes, I read your email, and I'm calling you about the interview. I'm like, Gary, that's wonderful. When would you like to do it? And he's like, I have a couple of questions. I'm like, so I put him on speakerphone in my car, and Juliet's driving with me, and we're both listening to Gary Wright quiz us on his career. And I'm not even making that shit up. He's just like, well, did you know, kind of what my beginnings are? And yeah, he said, yeah, you were in Spooky Tooth and you did this and you did that. And Juliet's like, how in the fuck did you know all this shit? she's like, man, we skated through that, man. We got really lucky. But he came on, and it's always getting the first guy and then getting the second person and then building that repertoire to where, now you could start getting maybe just the next bigger person or the next, level. But it's still got to come from a place of passion, because you know what? I mean, there will be A-listers Would I turn down Tom Cruise? No. But are we interested in having him in our show? Well, no. Yes. Well, because numbers are numbers, right? And I'd be an idiot to think that Tom Cruise couldn't, do huge numbers for any podcast, right? So you find the common ground.
I understand what you're saying, because Tom Cruise is a very, very talented man
who does that you want on tomorrow,
who does perfect movies, and I'm very interested in hearing about Scientology. Just putting that out there. So
that's right. Well, I think his best work are the deep fakes. I've seen him.
It's really weird. I haven't had a unpleasant experience yet with anybody.
Oh, we have.
And that's the thing, because there's a combination of wanting, because I've had a couple people that I was waiting for, when they haven't gotten to them yet. So you're going to be hearing this, and I want to let you know that I'm speaking in the abstract here. It doesn't apply to you people that I'm talking to that are going to be coming up later on. You guys are, of course, double incredible. Thank you. So you have the certain people, and you kind of there's a part of it that goes, how am I going to be able to talk to this person for like an hour? Or, I have a lot of information on them, but because I listened to some of the other interviews that some people did that are, and I was like,
well, see, that's really smart. And I think a lot of people don't do that, is that they go back to some of their back catalog of recent interviews to see, one, what is their cadence? What kind of answers do they give? Do they give you space to ask other questions? Are there topics that are off, or subjects that they just don't want to speak about?
Mm-hmm.
And you just really have to be careful. And I commend you for going back to and listen to a whole bunch of interviews, because a lot of people don't bother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also listened to some of your interviews before we got on.
Oh, on my YouTube channel?
No, interviews you did.
Oh, yeah.
Mostly Rob and Slim, because I knew.
Oh, the ones that I've actually been the guest. I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
because actually, I started, and I keep this a secret, by the way, Anthony. I have my own YouTube channel, and I don't promote it, but I've done a lot of celebrity interviews myself on that, because I thought it would be fun, and they're video based, so I thought it'd be kind of cool.
All right, secret channel.
It is a secret channel because I don't promote it to anyone. I don't give a shit.
Is there, because there's lots of nudity, Dave? Listen, you got to stop that. Dude. You're a married man now.
No, like recently I had on the singer. Do you know the band The Tubes?
Yes.
Fee Waybill. Yeah, you lived in San Francisco, so it's Fee's a San Francisco guy. And I'm a huge fan of The Tubes. I'm like, he would be fun to talk to, and Juliet doesn't have a passion for talking to him. So I'm like, shit. During COVID, we had a lot of free time on our hands that we didn't have before. So she started her YouTube channel. I started mine, and I ended it when COVID kind of pretty much ended here in New Orleans, because I just wanted to do it for shits and giggles and fun and talk to a bunch of cool people. And I got the opportunity to do that. And I'm done. I got it out of my system.
Yeah, it's like that is kind of like your YouTube channel with the interviews is kind of like a British sitcom. We do 13 and we're done.
Oh yeah, 13 and out. Totally. You know what? You're actually almost exact to the number of how many episodes I have out there. So I did John Anderson, the lead singer for Yes, the lead singer for the band Kansas. Who else did I have on? Eric Roberts. I had him on. Yeah, the actor, and a couple other people that I thought were just really cool people, and it was fun.
Do you do? What do you think about? Maybe in the future, you guys are going to have more people when you interview someone in person.
Yes, we've only done one of those.
That was the one. Okay, the one that Julia did with
Joe Bob Briggs.
Yeah, Joe. Yeah.
That was cool, but it was also the most frightening experience ever. Because when you're doing live at a remote location that you don't know what the internet's like, and you're setting up all this camera gear and lighting gear and the TV behind and getting seating, you're trying to create a studio environment. Holy shit, man, that's a lot of work. I don't know if I want to do face-to-face interviews anymore.
I'll be honest with you. When I saw that, I was like, I commend that, because that is personally, oh, that crap would have been recorded.
Right? We
There's
did
no way
it live.
Hell no. I'll do
I know.
the bourbon soaked one. I get that, but it's like, because let's be honest, if you do an interview and the person stinks,
right?
You're stuck staring at this chump or chumpette, and you're going, oh God, what is
anything could have happened, because it's live and you got a celebrity in front of you, and you're like, this guy was in the movie Casino. He was, in the top, Monster Vision, which was one of the top like horror outlets in the 80s. And I'm like, this guy's a super cool dude, and Juliet really likes this guy. If this goes badly, man, I mean, there's a lot on the line.
Yeah, because when I was talking earlier about the little streaming things that they have, Facebook has Spaces, no, Twitter Spaces, whatever that is. Facebook has something coming up, because as you know, when Facebook sees something that another company does, they either buy it or copy it. Yeah. So
and Instagram has theirs, and
it's all
like the same shit.
It's like, people keep DMing me talking about, hey man, why don't you do some stuff live? I got 2 shows now. What are you talking about? It's like, you know how many interviews I got stacked up already? That's not enough work. Let me.
I was shocked when you started your second one, because I'm like, okay, during the pandemic, I actually did get it, because of that, because we're all looking to put out different content. And actually, I'm seeing a lot of both podcasts and YouTubers do more experimentation during COVID than I ever have before. Like more celebrities were getting into podcasting, more celebrities were getting into YouTubing. Podcasters that have been doing it, like indie guys like us, for the longest time, were trying new things, were experimenting. I think it was actually kind of a new, I don't want to call it a renaissance, I don't want to be so dramatic, but I think that it was a pivotal time to where people found their voice a little bit more.
I'm trying to figure out, now that the pandemic is winding down.
Yep.
First of all, it permanently changed a lot of our behavior. I know people personally that literally said, and these are actual quotes, I like to go to the store myself. I don't want that crap mailed to my house. I'm not shopping online. Pandemic happens, they shop online. Now it's like, why would I go to the store when I could have a ship? I said, last year you would be looking at current you and going, who is that?
Dude, I have accepted Amazon as my overlord. I'm okay with that. Let them deliver to my door every goddamn day.
I am completely. I was watching a video about Amazon a while. It was on YouTube. It was a frontline thing about Amazon and origins and stuff. And they were talking about how people would go into the bookstore, look at a book, decide they want to buy it, and then go home and order it on Amazon.
See, you know what? And that's what drives actually Juliet nuts, because when she wrote her first book, here's the problem with Amazon and writers, right? Or creative people, is that they pay so little royalties for books compared to like the publisher that she would get paid from. Versus what Amazon paid, it was pennies on the dollar. So from a creative perspective, I see why people hate Amazon. And I see why, there's some worker unions and some issues in the warehouses. That's a whole nother issue that I'm not going to get into because I'm not educated enough on it. I hear stories, right? But as a consumer, hell yeah, I love it.
If you want to see her kick the television, go look up the Frontline documentary on Amazon, and they talk about how they muscled the independent publishers, and they worked their way up from the small publishers, and they just kind of worked their way up slowly. Basically, it was like they wanted the big publishers to go, you see what we did to those guys, right? We're heading in your direction. For that kind of intimidation helps consumers if they apply. Because I was online, and a banner popped onto my screen because it's Amazon Pharmacy.
That was the name of the documentary?
No.
Oh, no. That's the name of the. There's actually a pharmacy, Amazon Pharmacy.
Amazon is now into that, and it was only a matter of time because Target and Walmart dived into there. And when you have box stores of that size, they basically go to the pharmaceutical companies. Yeah, we're gonna sell your medicine $4 a month, and shut up,
dude. I'm gonna tell you a secret, and Julia can't hear this, so I'm not asking you to edit this out. Just I'll say it real quiet so she can't hear it. I bought lube on freaking Amazon. Not even kidding you. Lube.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I would purchase that myself instead of going into the store and getting it. I don't care what the mailman thinks. We're good. He's seen some things. So so he's like, this was hilarious. I lived in an okay, I'm not going to say the city. I lived in a different place because if I get too specific, people will know who I'm talking about. And I was seeing a lady I was at a younger age, can't even say which age it was, and I ordered some stuff. You know what? The hell with it. I was in New York City.
Nice.
And then and I ordered some stuff from a place that sold, products for stuff.
Right.
And a girl was visiting me on a regular basis, and we engaged in certain activities. And I bought some stuff, and it was delivered. And the mail, usually it was very discreetly, packaged.
Yeah, like Adam and Eve.
You couldn't tell what it was. They even had they had a show company with a different name, but you knew,
yeah.
Okay. But
you knew the deal.
One group of people who were complete morons were not discreetly packaging what I was purchasing to enjoy with the young lady. Well, she would be enjoying, I would be using it. And then I would get rid of it, and then I'd be using me, if you understand what I'm saying. So I got so it shows
hide it like a shovel and lie.
All I'm saying is, yeah. And so, right. And these idiots, it might as well say the package might as well say he's going to jam this in his girlfriend and here's some liquid on it. Right. So the mailman, I swear to goodness, because and it was one of those things where they would like send you like every few months they would send you
something in the mail a month, right?
Replacements for things that so
replacements. You made a commitment.
No, it was one of those things where you didn't know you had to opt out.
Oh,
they pulled one of those. Like,
I know.
I don't need this much of the lube. What am I, Dave LaFair? So, so the mailman comes up the steps, and at first like, "Hey, Mr. Thomas, what's going on?" I'm like, "Hey, brother, what's going on, man? Hey, man. Hey, Mr. Thomas." Was like, and then he comes up the steps, and this is the time when it was not discreetly packaged. He goes, "Well, hello, Mr. Thomas. Here you go, buddy." Get this look in his face like, ha, ha, ha. I know what you're doing. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Every time he delivers the mail, then he gives you the side eye.
Here you go, buddy. Have fun. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hey, what's in this package? Batteries?
He says, let me shake it. Aha, I think I know what's in there. And so I enjoy getting the packages. I got a total gym. I got like the regular person total gym, not that $9 billion version they have on TV.
Mm-hmm.
They have cheaper ones. And it was like, it's the closest thing as a middle-aged dude you can come to Christmas morning because you're waiting for it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, here he comes. Is that the UPS? Oh, there's another UPS truck. Damn. And it finally shows up. So I literally, if I order something online, 99.9999999 times, it is Amazon.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. I mean, the majority of stuff that we order is the same because living here in the French Quarter, it's really, really hard. And I still have my car,
Mhm.
but it's really, really hard to get in and out of the French Quarter. It just is. I mean, I wish I could explain how the traffic patterns work here and trying to cross Bourbon Street even during the day, or and the potholes here are the size of cars. I mean, your car can get eaten by a pothole and you wouldn't even see the thing coming up. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, I saw a sign on a guy's house that he was pointing down to, and he goes, "Hey, look, hole." It literally said that. so
Well, at least he
so
told you.
it's not easy. Yes. So I order everything online.
How difficult is it to get your guests at this point? Because you've done a lot of them, and after a while, you start to, you've talked to so many people after a while. Because I know that
Right.
for me, it's been some of them have been really easy. Insofar as I'll go, I was wondering if you'd like to do my. I didn't even get a chance to do a full type pitch. I just kind of put a feeler out, and they're like, "Yeah, sure. Well, when?"
Right.
And then some
You know,
people are like, "Well, I you."
I'll tell you, during COVID, it was so much easier
Mhm.
than any other time that we had because people were starting to get used to remote technology like celebrities that weren't using Zoom before,
Mhm.
right? So we're like, oh, that's why I decided to do my channel is because all these people started using Zoom and they wanted a way to connect with their fans. And I thought, what a cool way to do this. So let's try that. So I had some really good luck doing that. But I still think it's pretty easy still today, but there's a formula to getting guests, and I don't know if you ever saw this, S. Anthony, but on the YouTube channel. The very first video I put out there is how I get guests, what my,
Yes.
what my pitch is, when to get them, the timing, the way you connect to them. It's like an 8-point program that
Mhm.
I use. And I'm telling you, it's still tried and true. And we still, get great guests. I mean, are we getting A-list guests yet? I mean, well, we're not, having a million downloads every single day, but we're doing really well. And I'm happy with the numbers. But, are we at that top level? But we've gotten some great comedians. We've gotten
Mhm.
some great actors, and I'm pleased with how things have gone. But to answer your question just kind of holistically, I think it's actually gotten better over time.
The funny thing about it is, once you've done a bunch of them in a row, like you said, and people can actually, because I swear to goodness, this is one of the funniest things. And I remember asking someone a while ago, and because I don't talk about how many people download because it's not important to me.
Right.
You don't want to sound like well, how about this number? No, you want to
Well,
sound like,
you gotta when you're, and here's who I pitch to generally. If it's an actor, I always work with the PR company. If it's an author, I always work with the PR company of the publisher. So PR people are very important to me. So I got an IMDb Pro account so that I can look up all these people. It's very simple to do. These people are all public. You look up a star, and then they show their PR person. You contact their PR person. If you do it the right way, everybody tries to contact celebrities through Twitter directly. To them, it's white noise. They don't want to, they're hearing it all day long. Would you come on my show? Would you talk to my friend? Can you send me a video? I'm your biggest fan. You think that they are actually responding to half this shit? No. Go through their PR people, put together a solid pitch. You got a great shot at getting those people.
the funny thing about it is like the people that I've talked to so far,
Mm-hmm.
I literally, it's like, I didn't realize how many people that I wanted to talk to were already friends of mine on Facebook.
There you go.
I
Right.
had
And
no idea.
go to your sources, right?
I was like, this guy, I didn't realize we were friends on Facebook. Hey, hey. And then I just asked him, he goes, yeah, sure. So I was like, oh, okay.
And dude, if you ever want anyone on your show that we've had on ours, I'll connect you with the people to do it. And if you're looking for a PR person, I'll get you the PR person's name if they're an actor or an author or a comedian.
Do you have any blackmail material on any of these people? Because I want to make sure that when I contact them, they will not say no under any circumstances.
I do. Bob Levy, because actually Juliet did a podcast. She did 4 episodes with Bob Levy. He actually, after he came on our show, he had so much fun that he actually asked Juliet to start a podcast with him. And I'm like, what kind of weird world do we live in that this is even possibly a thing? So she did it, and she's just like, and she loves Bob. By the way, she absolutely loves Bob. But at the time, it was during the election. And by the way, the first one, not this one coming that we just had, but the one prior to that, when it was against Clinton and Trump. And it started to get really political, and Juliet's so not a political person. So we had a long talk with Bob, and we decided that, it's probably not the right kind of mix for that. But we stayed and remained great friends with Bob Levy. Super nice guy.
It's like, on this channel, I absolutely try my best to stay away from that. Right?
Yeah, I don't talk anything politics ever.
But a couple times I had on people who were like literally political reporters.
Well, see, you got what you asked for there.
Yeah, yes. So it was like, I was like, and it was no problem. But it was something, and I remember saying, I forget. I said, look, I knew going in, I'm like, okay, the guy, what am I going to do? And it was fine because he's not like his politics were so different from mine, so it wasn't really that big of a deal. But I just imagine getting a hold of it,
Yeah.
Blah, 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 controversy, really, really ridiculous statement. And I'm sitting there going, oh, Jesus, what is this? All the hate's going to be direct. Because if I get hate, I've been attacked online before, but if it was for some stuff I actually didn't even say. And a couple times it was something I did say. It was innocuous, but it was because I said, I gave like a thumbs up to somebody for doing something. But if it's something I actually said and I believe it, I don't care if you attack me. The hell do I care?
We've gotten really lucky there. We haven't had any what I'll call huge flame ups, either by guests that we have on the show or content that she's done in her storytelling. We've been very, very lucky. Now, that said, that we would get like weird private DMs saying, I know that you had so-and-so on the show, and I'm a huge fan, and I think that he was talking about me. Can you take that section out? And I'm like, what are you talking about? We've had that more than a couple of times. And it's like, I'm not removing anything. If they said it on the show and I feel it's appropriate and it puts them in a good light, if it puts them in a bad light, I always edit to the benefit of the guest every single time. I had one interview, and I'll tell you this. I won't tell you who it was, but he was so shitty about his son on the interview that I had to cut out a whole huge chunk of it because he was just being completely awful to his like natural born son. I'm like, he doesn't want that out in the ether. I'm telling you, he just doesn't. And he probably would regret it if we did post it. So, I always edit to the benefit of the guest.
Of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours that I've put out there, I think I've chopped out maybe 4 minutes total.
Holy crap! You're kidding me.
Yeah, of people, because it's like I could see where a couple people were going. You know what I mean? I could see it coming. I'm going, yeah, I'm gonna tap the side of this boat really quickly because I know it is, because it's not gonna affect me any. It's like none of the hate's gonna be directed towards me.
Right.
And a couple people said some things that were not controversial or horrible or anything like that, but a couple of times they they got so comfortable talking to me that they said things that
know that they didn't want out there.
Yeah, and I literally sat there and I was like, I'm gonna sit there. And then they called me. It's Anthony. I said the thing with the thing. Yeah, I said.
Yeah, can you get that out of there?
I said I made a copy with that out and a copy with that in, and I was just sitting here. I was going to call you and ask you, and he goes, "Oh, thanks." I said, I said, while I'm sitting there on the phone with you, because I made a special marking on the one without the edit, and I just completely erased and dumped both copies of the one that wasn't edited.
Mm-hmm.
And then I put up the one. I said it was only because I think and that one was really half of the 4 minutes. It was a couple of minutes, and even it was just they mentioned something that happened in passing, and then they finished the conversation, but the conversation referenced that stuff, and I said I just took the whole chunk. I said, dude, I just took the whole chunk out, man.
You know what, and that's a smart thing to do. And when I come back to you after this is done recording, I'm going to do a turnabout on you, because I'm not going to ask you to delete something like the lube statement. I'm going to ask you to add something like earlier on when I didn't add that Juliet was hot in the whole earlier section.
Well, there's a bad thing. I just texted her and said he did not say hot. So she said, let me see. That bastard, damn him. Oh, God, you're in trouble.
I'm not even sleeping on my couch. I'm sleeping on my freaking neighbor's couch.
Yeah, you're going to be that secret balcony in the back of your house.
You got that right. Hey, and by the way, anytime you want to come to New Orleans, we do have a second bedroom. You have an open invitation to stay here any weekend you want to.
Now, I just want everybody to know, you all heard that.
Yep.
So I'm going to make sure that part is, I'm actually going to take that part, edit it, and play it 3 times back to back to back. For
is that the new promo?
Hey, y'all, it's the Bourbon Soak Stories with Juliet. And it's Anthony. I'm living here now.
He's a squatter.
What's going on, guys?
Son of a bitch.
It's now bourbon soaked in apple juice, because that's
right. I know.
Now, my friend, we have come to the end of this wonderful. I want to thank you, my friend. It took let's see, 75 years for us to link up.
6 years of knowing each other, being a part of Potter and Family, and that's how we kind of got to know each other. And we've talked, on DMs and offline and things like that, but we've never had a conversation. This is awesome. I appreciate you having me on, brother.
And I want to thank you for coming on. And just before we leave, I just would like to say to the audience, you got to hear 2 of the smoothest voices in podcasting. You're welcome.
And I'm not even in podcasting. I'm behind the scenes.
Yeah, so just want to let you know right now, he's not even in podcasting. He's actually the producer. So you got to hear both of our voices, and you're welcome. And you should be. I was going to sit here we're going to be quiet for 3 seconds to let them applaud in their cars.
You assume people still listen to podcasts in cars?
You would be surprised, my friend. I was because there were people that were listening to. There's a lot of people that have spot that they put their phones and they have a Spotify. Because I was surprised that people were going, yeah, man, I listened to you in the car. Because my first blast of audience came from people that were listening to me. The first chunk of audience that started to get bigger was in Los Angeles. They were listening to me in the cars during traffic, and I thought that was hilarious. That's why I used to always do that thing, unsuck your commute. I used to say that all the time on Twitter, because that's what they said. They was like, we like listening to you in the car. I said, I probably stopped about 1,000 drive-by shootings. Because I know what LA traffic feels like, and you're like, I need to smack some of these people.
Well, I think my YouTube channel, the David the Producer YouTube channel, is number 1 in bathhouses. So I don't even think cars when I think that stuff.
Okay, I think we just admitted something else here. I think we're just going to have to talk. I'm going to have to let me text Juliet again. He does about bathhouses, and he also just said that we didn't say the hot thing, because there we go. You're in trouble. She said something about moving the couch to the back.
Couch to the back balcony.
My friend, thank you for coming on. It was a blast talking to you, my brother.
Yes, Anthony, I can't thank you enough for having me on, and such a great time talking to you. And hope we get a chance to do this again sometime soon.
Absolutely. And of course, as always, we will continue to harass each other online.
You got it. And remember, open invite to New Orleans anytime.
Thank you, good sir. Hey, take care, my brother.
Take care.
All right, now that was fun, wasn't it? Told you. What did I tell you? Have I failed you yet? No. Will I fail you? Also no. Thanks again for all your support. Much love to everybody, and I'll see you again next time. Take care.